positivity, motivation, never settle for average. You know, we do it over here. I see a big shift coming in a lot of the coaching platforms, a lot of the mental mindset platforms, as they are called. I think a lot of people are just over the arrogance, the cockiness, the talking down to. They are looking for more relatable content, more relatable people that aren't so much trying to shame somebody into change, but more or less trying to inspire change. I never was one to get off on trying to belittle other people to make myself seem like I'm something better. You know, I always felt like if you want to elevate yourself, you elevate the people around you, but you do it through commonality. You find something that you both can relate to, you share those interests, and together you grow. To think that somebody is going to talk you into becoming something that you're not because they're trying to talk you into being like them, you're never going to realize who you are. So the only way a person technically can help you elevate is if they try to find some type of mutual interest, which through that mutual interest, they can pull forth energy to help you find your true calling. But calling somebody names, telling somebody that, you know, they're weak or they're a little bitch or they because they're a loser because they don't have this. You never know what a person's circumstances are. Some people don't blossom until, you know, they're late 30s, 40s, 50s. Who knows? I mean, they might be on a continual journey and they're blossoming continually, but because they maybe aren't where you're at doesn't mean they're any less. There's all different types of stages and phases of human evolution, you know, elevation of consciousness and spirituality. But the journey of spirituality and consciousness is not built on physicality. I've seen individuals who aren't muscular at all, who maybe seem like physically they're, you know, visibly weak, but they're strong spiritually, they're strong mentally, and they are strong physically. They can hike trails that most muscular people can't make it up. They can climb mountains that people with muscles couldn't climb. They can swim distances that people with muscles couldn't swim. They can squeeze into places that people with muscles would get stuck. So when you think about physicality and muscles and somebody who asserts this so-called size factor, a lot of that is a false play, man. Because I've learned from people who took no time in the gym. They exercised, but they weren't gym rats. They weren't constantly doing a bunch of physical activities as far as lifting weights, but they were in great health, and they taught me a lot of mental game, dealing with life, you know, family, relationships. If you look at a person, and yeah, they're buff, you know, they got big arms, they could bench press a lot of weight, but when it comes to their relationships with other people, their families, their siblings, their spouses, their girlfriends, their friends, how are those relationships? Is everything about me, or are these people actually building strong bonds with other individuals, or is everything focused on selfishness? It's all right to want to have nice things and to want to be successful and on top of your game. But if that's all you focus on, if everything is material, you don't work on building any type of spiritual bonds, think about things that go beyond just what somebody visually sees, you're gonna be basically bankrupt in your soul, because you have nothing to give. Yeah, driving a luxury car, living in a nice house is great, but what about your relationships with people? What about the relationships with somebody you can confide in that's not going to burn you? That's why when you look at the people who sometimes assert these dominant roles or statuses, we were on a kick in 2024, I guess in 2023, there were a lot of guys, alpha males, I'm a tough guy. But when you look at those relationships, why do you think a lot of people turned on those guys? Why do you think people burnt those people, put their business out there? Because they treated other people around them like shit. When you treat people like shit, people have no problem airing out your personal life, exposing you, recording you at your weakest moments, and letting other people know that you're really not all that, because everything is a front, everything is an image, and that does not build trust. It does not build long-term bonds. People, have a sense of bitterness, animosity, a lot of jealousy, and so that's a losing formula. If you're, walking around hoorahing and bragging all the time and putting people down, you will have nobody that will ever be loyal to you. Everybody at the end of the day will burn because you treat them like shit. They might not say it, they might smile, but they have no loyalty because you shit on them. You're always trying to one-up them. And when I see that in person, I back away from it. I don't want to be around somebody. They're always, I'm doing this, and they're always trying to somehow make themselves feel better by bragging about something that they've done or that they're doing, but there's never no genuine sincerity in what they're saying. Where's the sincerity at? Get out, you little punk. Get to do this. Oh, you're not nothing. I'm going to teach you this and you going to man. That's not how. That's if in military, you go into war, you got to kill somebody. You got to be emotionless to a degree, but you got a platoon. You got your other soldiers next to you. You have a bond with them, but there's a sense of loyalty because you're doing some shit that could, mean life or death. And also you're holding secrets because depending on what you got involved in, you can't talk about it when you come back. And most of these guys in here, that are on these platforms, they're secrets. It's all lies. It ain't no secrets. It's just lies. It's lies because, in order to get the person who's on the outside to believe what they're doing, they got to lie and make up stories. Because if they were just themselves, it wouldn't sell. That's why I'm like, man, I don't need to go and make up stories about, I did this and did that. Man, it's out there. I don't want to put anything extra that I didn't do because I don't want to come back and bite me in my ass. And if I'm going to have people around me, I want people who are genuine, people who are there for me, not people who are using me, and people who feel like, I want to be a real friend. I don't want fake people. I don't want people who are bitter because I made them feel less than, or somebody who has some hidden jealousy. I don't need to be around people like that. And I don't want to try to build anything with people like that because it's not going to last. It'll be a shitty foundation. So I see a shift in all these tough guy platforms, these individuals who are selling all this hype, and it's gonna shift down to a more spiritual connecting frequency. and we're going to see more, in a sense, I'll say love in relationships, in friendships, in building bonds, because we got to get back to the love if we really want to elevate ourselves to the next level. You know, it's not about all this other stuff is just an illusion, and it can be taken from you quick. You know, the devil, you know, give it to you, and you have you know, burning people, disrespecting people, shitting on people, cracking jokes on people, and making you feel like you're the man. And then that's his game plan. So when all that is taken from you, and these people that you basically made feel like shit, they won't even take your phone call after that. They'll look at you like you had it coming, and they'll basically bask in your downfall. They'll dance when you're on your knees. And I don't want people like that around. I don't want people to feel like that around me. I want people, if I'm you know, in a low point, I want them to feel like, hey man, I could talk to you. I want somebody to feel like, hey, they're the connection, because, you know, I treated them well, and I didn't exploit them at a weak point, or I didn't make them feel like they weren't a man because they got a little emotional. You know, I actually made them feel like they were a human being, and we have these human emotions, and sometimes as men, we have things that we're dealing with, and we're trying to figure them out, because we have to, you know, have this tough outer skin, but inside sometimes maybe we have things emotionally we're trying to work out. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't mean that you're a bitch. It just means you're trying to work it out, and you're still a man if you handle your business, because that's part of what makes you a man. If everything was easy, there would be no respect for it. If it was easy to build 20-inch arms, to walk around with abs, to drive a nice car, to have a nice house, it would be no respect. People would have graffiti on their houses. You know, guys would be eating McDonald's, still having 20-inch arms, eating, you know, donuts, thinking, you know, hey man, I could still bench press, you know, 400 pounds. This shitty diets. It would be the illusion of what they're putting out with all these people talking about, oh man, you know, it's cool to be out of shape and you're still good. You can still be successful. I'm not saying to not be physically fit, but I'm saying, and to a degree, it shows that you do have respect for yourself, and people look up to people who have a physical presence. But I'm saying, don't base your whole persona on your physical presence, because that makes you really shallow. Check me out on Patreon, pick up some merch, BigHerc916, subscribe, share the channel, man. Love to hear your comments, and sharing the love. What's up? BigHerc916. For those who don't know, I have a Patreon. The link's in the description. Over there, I do motivational videos, usually on a daily, if not every other day. I got some cool stuff I'm offering to people who subscribe. So feel free to go over, hit the link in the description, become a member of my Patreon, and man, let's get it. You know how we do it. To pick up a limited edition GTA poster signed by me for $10, or with your purchase of a Wig Splitter Porsche t-shirt, I'll throw in a free poster signed. I gotta hurry up and wash my ass. Go to BigHerc916.com, pick you up a bar of soap, and wash your ass, or else you're gonna be under arrest too. Oh shit. 916 store, and pick you up a sticker for your car, or a patch, or a sticker for your laptop, or maybe a beanie, or read one of the many books that BigHerc916 has authored. You know how we do it.